Hey, 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 hey. Hello, hello. Let me just see if I'm live. And I am going to come to you with some spectacular stuff tonight. So perhaps as you join me, you can now just join me and get ready for takeoff. So, where am I going to take you? Well, where do you want to go? That is the question. I just wanted to make sure that I was live. And yes, I believe I am very much alive. So, guys, the secret formula of high productive people that have epic success. What is it? What is the actual secret? Does anybody know? Does anybody know the answer to this question? And if you do, put down in the comments what you reckon the answer could possibly be. And let me just share this little baby and share the love right across. And I'm going to add lots and lots of value to you tonight. So, your emotions are energy in motion. So, wherever you are feeling, whatever you're going through, that is exactly what you are attracting. So many emotions from your past, could they be just stuck inside your nervous system? Now, can you imagine, guys? Here is a little kind of a metaphor, what I call a metaphor, and that is that, imagine if you never ever cleaned out your wardrobe. What if you never cleaned out your wardrobe? And I'm just going to ask my husband to turn down his volume because I can hear myself from this room. So can I just ask you to do that? And don't mind me. Speaking of my husband and never cleaning out wardrobes, guys, I do have to tell you that if you had products in your cupboard since the 80s, apart from being very outdated, although I love the 80s, right? You wouldn't have much room to put new things. How can you put new things in a cupboard? Hello, Melina. Hello, Kenny. Hello, Ian. Hello, everyone, as you're joining. You couldn't possibly fit new things into the cupboard if the cupboard was really just stuffed full with everything else. So really, if you do not actually take the time to clear your emotions, clear your past, you guys, and do the kind of things for yourself, for your mind, you could end up in burnout land. Do you know that familiar thing when people are tired and they seem to be, it's almost like the rich are getting richer. Have you ever heard the saying, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer? It is true, guys. There is some kind of mysterious magic around that formula. And it's not just talking about money, it's talking about everything. So if you think about some of the things that you're doing daily, if you're doing constant grind, if you are doing, if you are over giving, then what happens is you're going to be constantly caught up in this rut. So one of the greatest gifts that ever happened for me is actually learning the art of how to actually become aware that my emotions, right, you guys, my habits, my emotions, and all of those things, they're not actually my enemy. Your emotions are not your enemy. If you are tired in your body, if you are fatigued, or you've got adrenal problems, or you're suffering any kind of, emotions, say thank you. Say thank you, thank you, thank you for it. You're probably thinking, oh my gosh, this lady's got rocks in her head. Guys, I'm going to promise you something. Your emotions, your anger, your frustration, all of the things that you may be facing in your life, if you feel like you are going around and around on a treadmill, you know, like a mouse on one of those wheels, and you're just not going anywhere, it is really a blessing in disguise, because when you hit the wall, it's when you hit the wall and you say, I am not going to tolerate this stuff anymore. And I am going to give you a magic formula, you guys. So stick around, because there's going to be some really big gold nuggets. So when you think about the stuck energy or the patterns that you are going through, what is the one thing that you find that you're suffering? Now, I want you to say thank you to it, because, you know, whatever you're suffering, what happens is this, okay? If you're thinking you've got a pattern or an addiction, like I was talking to a client yesterday, and, you know, he has just come in such leaps and bounds. It is miraculous. He has released the most chronic anxiety that he was crippled with. He'd been crippled with anxiety for 7 years. And because I don't tell people, I never give names away, although this man has given me testimonial, because in 2 or 3 short sessions, you guys, he actually released the trauma that had been stuck in his nervous system. So that trauma, that anxiety that was going around every single day was happening because there was a record playing in the back of the mind. And that record is usually a record that's coming from the past, you know, like an old cracked record. We know that records used to exist, right, you guys? Well, time to get rid of the record, time to put in a new software. And this is what I do. This is my specialty. This is what I help people with at the absolute speed of light. And this is what time and time and time again, for 13 years, I'm a veteran in the industry, is my absolute 100% magic. Thank you, God. I thank God for that. And I am going to give you a magic formula. I have promised that I am going to deliver tonight. So stick around, and I am going to give you some really epic tips and tricks. So with this man, you know, one of the things that he wanted to do yesterday, because really our habits come from our emotions, and our emotions come from our thoughts. So this is like this synchrony of emotion in motion, right? So the things that you're doing, if you're running a program that is stuck on overdoing, overgiving, stress, anxiety, or you're in that rut where you haven't got enough money, you're feeling like you're lacking. And this is where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, because the more, I'm going to talk about poor and rich, not in terms of dollars and cents. I'm going to talk about it in terms of currency of you and your self-worth. If you are stuck in a lackluster or a lack mentality, that you do not think you're good enough, you do not feel like you're enough, or there's this old past, you know, recording from a parent or a teacher or some person that spoke something into your life, you made a decision in that moment. And that's what we can dissolve. That's what we can clear, and that's what we can transmute. So when you're in a bad emotion or physical ailment, even if you're tired or run down, you can go, oh, thank you so much to my miracle body. My body is so much taking care of me. My subconscious mind that is connected in with the universe and with God's realm and the divine amazingness of this energy karma that's going on. It is that miracle saying, wake up. It's time to make a change. So it could be that either one or two things, and it definitely comes down to one of these two things. And maybe you can think about what it is that you want to change, whether it's a stuck emotion, whether you're procrastinating, whether you're feeling tired and run down, and ask yourself this question. Is this coming from something that's in your past where, you know, when you were a child and you grew up, you made meaning? Or maybe it is coming from you being out of alignment with your values and what it is that's going on in your life. Like if you're in a job or a relationship or something where that you are totally out of alignment, you're not feeling that connection, then isn't it great that your body is there as a gift to say to you, this ain't working, time to change. Okay, but did you even read it that way? Did you actually consider that you are a miracle? Well, you know, the other element is that now that you know everything comes from a higher purpose, my client yesterday said, Terry, I'd really like to drink less. Drink less what? Drink less water? Drink less Coke? So the subconscious mind needs to know what it is that you want to change. And in his case, he wanted to stop drinking alcohol. Now I'm going to confess to you my own little weakness, because we've all got weaknesses. Every single one of us have got weaknesses. The difference between myself and maybe a person out there that has no clue whatsoever, and I know if you're watching this, you may be quite empowered already. You may know stuff about this because that might be why you're watching, because you are really interested in taking control of your mind, your body, and your life. So I asked him the question, what are you getting out of drinking? Because there's always a higher purpose. And my confession or my weakness is that I have a tendency to be an overgiver, overdoer, a rescuer, and a person who really is in a situation where burnout can strike. And I have had serious burnout in my life before. In fact, in my 20s, I was in real estate and I was so much in that, locked into the giving and the serving and the overdoing. And that was, I couldn't break free of it. And I must admit, I had to have a breakdown. I had to have that breakdown to have a breakthrough. However, if I'm going to be honest, there is a tendency there. So I have to be careful for that. And I'm sure you're aware of what it is that you need to be careful of. So here's my first gold nugget. When you consider firstly that you have something going on, the first question you can ask yourself is this coming from a past karma, a past situation where something in my younger years happened? Now, I was working with a young man, you know, like a teenager, and I also work very well. It doesn't matter whether they're male, female, whether they're teenagers or they're in their 70s, 80s, or middle-aged. I work with everyone. And in this case, this young man constantly felt sick. Now, after going to doctors and looking into what is wrong, why does he wake up every morning feeling sick? Why does he, you know, feel the way he does? And then when I learned that he also is quite anxious, and he told me a story of this anxiety where all his hands started sweating profusely, and he was just about to get an award and he did a runner. That's called fight or flight. So people avoid, so they make up an excuse and run, or this can happen in all of our lives, and this is really, really normal. So he couldn't believe it, but that sick feeling he had in his throat, and even though it seemed like a physical illness, everything comes from the mind. So we tracked it back and discovered that it was something that happened as a child where he actually was sick. And in that situation, it just so happened that whatever happened and presented itself, it left that decision in his mind that waking up in the morning, he feels sick, going back to that, once we dissolved it, once we cleared it and we transmuted it, we shifted it. So the question is your issue coming from past, or is it coming from a lack of you being aligned? That's the first question. Now, here's the next one, and this is really, really strong for the other client that I was dealing with, and even myself. So I'm talking about overdoing, overserving, and, chronically becoming like in that workaholic state. There are 4 reasons why we do what we do as human beings. If you want to know what the 4 are, send me some love and say yes. And perhaps if somebody can even put it down in the comments and write this down, that would be amazing. You would be serving the planet. Number 1 reason, so it doesn't matter whether it's about alcohol, whether it's about workaholism, whether it's about physical illness, whether it's about stress, anger, whatever it is it coming from a place of, number 1, love and connection? So in other words, when you are thinking about a pattern, write down love and connection if someone can do that, and I would really appreciate that. So love and connection, it could be, a person could be doing what they're doing, drinking, or in my case, workaholism, to get love and connection. That's the first one. The second one is it coming from a place of where you need confidence and certainty? This is a really big one, because for this gentleman, he said definitely the certainty. So he believes he's made an association that the drink or whatever it is connected, right, you guys, to feeling confident and certain. Now, I need to get through this really fast because I've got to get to the part where I'm going to share some gold nuggets on high productivity. So that's number 2. Number 3 is importance. Is a person, and usually when people are angry or whether they are in a situation, hi Des, how you doing? Feel free to write these down. So the first one was love and connection. The second one was confidence and certainty. The third one is importance. Are you really just wanting to feel important? Is that why you're doing that pattern? Is that why that is going on in your life? Or number 4, the last one, and I know that I'm inclined to enjoy a drink, and I know that this is definitely the reason I do this in this case, fun and variety. So my subconscious mind actually thinks that by doing that, whether it is having a drink, overworking, whether it's doing anger, whether it is being ill, even ill health, could be coming from a place where you want connection. I'm not joking, you guys. That's why these are gold nuggets. When you learn the 4 human needs, and Anthony Robbins talks about it in detail. So let's get crystal clear and laser lucid focused around now, moving forward. So what can be the answer here? All the answers are inside you. You are such a divine human being. You are a miracle. And so when you actually stop doing and start being, and instead of letting your subconscious mind run your life, run your immune system, run your nervous system, run your emotions, it's time to take control. Because all is your subconscious is doing is it's that higher infinite self that has all this information, every single bit of information from your past. So it is just pulling up files from the past. Oh, I see that person. How do I act? Oh, that's the part where I need to fall in love. Okay, just saying. Pull up another part. Oh, there's another person. This is the part where we have fun and we hang out together. We pull up another file. This one could be, this is the one where, okay, not so good, not so flash, right? You are referring all the time to folders. Even dogs react to human beings from memories that they have, Like you'll see a dog flinch if the postman, who was old, bald, and basically kicked him. The dog may hate old, bald men. Do you see what I'm saying? And Pavlov's dogs. This is all about the associations that the mind makes. So guess what? Guess what, you guys? Do you want to know what? Say what if you want to know what. You can clear out. Imagine that this is just, I'm holding a big container. It's your subconscious mind. I'm pouring all the stuff out like a rubbish bin, like a garbage. Did I tell you that my husband actually had a Vegemite container, you guys, and had it in the cupboard since 1972? It became a vintage heirloom, you guys. So then the cleaning lady came along and threw it out. He was devastated. Never had a cleaning lady since. Does anybody want to clean my house? Okay, so let's go. Pouring out all of the junk from the trunk. Imagine you're just getting rid of all the memories, all the files, all the folders, and ta-da! As Des says, your shiz just turned into Shazam. I love that, Des. You've got to brand that. Okay, at least I'm quoting you for it. Okay, so here you are, free as a bird, lightweight. You have no concepts about food. You have no concepts about alcohol. You have no concepts about people. The only thing you know is your knowledge, your skills, who you love, your divine life, and everything else. This is where I get to my part where I'm going to share some gold nuggets with you. Okay, so what it is it's an acronym, and the acronym is HPQ. HPQ. Can somebody write that down in the comments? HPQ. Now, with HPQ, it stands for highly performance results. HPQ. No, sorry, highly performing quality. High performing quality, okay? So what this actually means is that when you have the HPQ factor, highly performance quality factor, that is when you guys, you can then say to yourself, what is it that I need to do today that is really important? Now, you can have high performance quality rituals. Now, this is what changed the trajectory of my entire life. My husband and I, when we were in clinic, we were very blessed. We were very successful. That's where I began my clinical hypnotherapy and my NLP training, coaching, and leadership. And I trained many people and probably saw most of the 3,000 people that I've seen. And we were multiple six figures. Now, can you imagine going from multiple six figures to broke as a joke? Okay, I can, because why? Because I went through that, you guys. Now, it was meant to be, and I, again, like I've taught you in this program tonight, I am so grateful to the universe that we spent too long for me, you know, because when you know the work that I know, 2 months is too long. Some people suffer for 2 years, 20 years. 2 months is a freaking eternity in my life to be doing any shiz, you guys. So when you have resources, you don't have to stay in that shiz. But yes, we went so broke, I couldn't even pay an electricity bill, and our electricity, wait for it, you guys, how humiliating, got turned off. That was the moment when I drew a line in the sand, F this shiz, and I became absolutely vigilant about high performing quality rituals. So HPQ, and then the first one being rituals, and I began my morning time rituals of getting up early in the morning. It changed my life, you guys. I journaled, I moved my body, I exercised. I won't go into detail because I've got too much more to share with you on this. Okay, so that's the first thing. The next thing is HPQ structure, high performing quality structure. The greatest thing I ever did for my workaholism, can I even say that word? My tendency to be a workaholic in an intense, crazy, 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 crazy world is bring structure into my life, because what structure does, as long as not everything is structured, you've got to have the ability to flow and have the ability to have, you know, your life so that it is moving with that ease, flow, and grace, and doors of opportunity opening. But I just put a few structures in place. Now, putting structures in place means that I know that on a Tuesday, I have lunch with my family every single Tuesday. I know that every second Saturday, I go on a date with my husband and we read The Barefoot Investor, you guys, and it's changed the trajectory of our life because we talk about money and we never talked about money before. And the fact is that, you know, you need to care about what it is that's happening in your life. You need to take control. You need to be in bona fide control of your life. And so by implementing structure means high performing quality structure. Okay, so now I've got rituals, now I've got structure, now I've got activity, high performing quality activities. Now here's the big one. How many people get stuck in a rut just doing mindless, stupid things that just wears them out, you know, has you going around and around and around in that rut, and you're left feeling like, well, what did I even achieve? So what sets the world apart from those who are just, you know, maybe too busy filing their emails and getting this ready and, you know, emptying rubbish bins and, you know, perhaps worrying about the family and what they're going to have for dinner, rather than actually saying to yourself, what is the one activity that I need to do today to achieve it? And it needs to be a high quality, high performing quality. Now, you guys, when you start actually implementing what I have brought as an acronym, high performing quality rituals, structures, activities, your life is going to change. Now, when you think about highly is what is highly important to you. So you think about what is highly important to me. Performance. Now, the performing, high performance quality, performance is so that you are in your peak. Now, I don't think anybody was ever in their peak by being absolutely stuck in a rut, you guys. So, you know, do things like, you know, dance, sing, put music on, take breaks, have those deep breaths, go to the beach, do what you love that is going to peak your performance. So in order to be able to have all of these things, this all comes together like a beautiful synergy symphony orchestra when you are highly performing and you are giving quality to your life through structures, rituals, and activity. And you can apply it to so many other things. Now, if you want that written, just let me know in the comments, say, can I have a copy, or just put copy, and I will make sure that I give you a copy of this outline. And I'm going to share one last story with you, and that is that due to the fact that I actually implemented this into my life, I mean, I knew that I was changing lives for 13 years, helping people to get rid of their anxiety, their depression. And then I was training and teaching people. So I've been training and teaching for many, many, many years. And now we're moving to the next level. So the next level is that I am crowning people to actually run the program. The program, you guys, now listen very, very carefully. People are always looking outside of themselves for all the answers. But again, all the answers, and say hello as you're jumping on, and thank you for joining, Erin. Thank you for joining, everyone. Thank you for your great interest. So really, what is it that you want in your life? Everything that you want is inside you. Your gift is inside you. Your talent is inside you. You are enough. And when you begin to know that you are so worth it and you are just so divine, you'll know that you'll never have to grind and hustle again. Because even as I'm teaching people to create their programs, they think, like most practitioners, when they go out and learn NLP, or they go out and they learn all this stuff at school or university, they don't know where to start because they're so busy trying to take everything in. It's about you. It comes down to you. Your art, your specialty, and this is what I teach people eventually. So once I groom them, once they're transformed, people that actually rise up and want to become coaches, I don't just train them and give them the system of my greatest techniques, you guys. I then hold their hand and we design a program based. Imagine this, just imagine this for a moment. You have a program based on your biggest hardship and most traumatic story that converts into your crown of glory. Just have a think about that for a moment. Not 1,000 things. Bruce Lee says, I'm more afraid of the man that has done one kick 10,000 times than I am the man who's learnt 10,000 kicks. You see, the answers are in you. You have the craft. If you were suffering from anxiety, say if you're one of my coaches and you're ready to take off in my Elite Crown program, whatever your biggest struggle was, because we conquered it, because I know that we always take my coaches through, we conquer their fears and their traumas first, and then we elevate them to then saying, there's somebody out there just like you that is praying for you, that has the same problem and the same issue as you. And this is why there's no competition. And this is a huge gold nugget that I'm sharing. So when it comes to actually creating their magnificence, their program, their art is within. And it's the gold nuggets and the absolute amazingness of whatever you've conquered that you're going to give the world. And you're going to watch and you're going to see some programs coming up over the next few months run by my kings and queens, because I am a divine queen goddess of light and transformation, here to change the world, all for the glory of God. Thank you, Lord. I do give all of everything to God for any gift that I have, and it was resourced. And I want to say to you, if you are not in any of my programs and you would like to at least get on board of the rock solid foundation to clear that, remember the container, you guys, empty out that container that's hold all the reference points of your life that are no longer serving you, because you no longer have to be afraid of whatever you're afraid of. You no longer have to be sick with that same ailment that you once were sick from, because that's an old story and it's just created a pattern. And if you don't change it, wherever you go, you'll just take it with you. So I'm going to ask you to reach out to me. I am offering a free discovery call to have a heart-to-heart, and we can map out, we can look at what's stopping and blocking you. And on the provisor, because even if I'm not the perfect fit for you, if you're not feeling like I'm the one, I'm going to ask you to find someone who is and get mentored, because we need to be aligned first. That is paramount. And if you feel that you do want to make that connection, then I will drop my link into the post above. And I'm going to send you lots of love now. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Blessing, 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 as my mentor says. And I am so glad, because the moment I invested, and I have to say, guys, in 3 months, I've earned more since I have been serving with grace, ease, and flow, and having the self-worth and the rituals that I just shared with you. I have made more in 3 months than I did in that full year that I was telling you about. More in 3 months than in a whole 12-month period. And it's only the beginning. And that's not talking in a skite way of money. It's talking in self-worth, self-love, self-acceptance, gratitude, and divine sacred service. And whatever I have, you can have it too. So the moment I stepped into myself and I said yes to my soul, and I exchanged my currency and invested, I elevated. And I had a lady I spoke to on the phone tonight, and she may watch this, and she's told me she hasn't even had her first session with me yet. Her life is already elevated. She's set the intention. She's obviously had conversations with me because we had to make sure we were a good fit first. But even because she's such a selfless, beautiful person, and I can see she's got a healing gift inside her, even her husband has had shifts. And I knew that was going to happen, because when you have a shift, your world around you will shift with you. So guys, that's all I got for you. And, share this or tag a friend if you feel there's someone out there that needs to hear this message. This was a very deliberate, sacred message tonight, and I trust that there's been some gold nugget in it. And on that note, I am going to sign off and send you lots of love, and bless, bless, bless. And remember, results really do count.